lots of research, and also you have to ask themselves why do they want to do it? Because a lot of people do it because they want to make a bunch of money and all that, and that's the wrong reason. The best businesses I've seen are people, either they get into a franchise or you know, and they run it, or they see a problem. They say, okay, I've been seeing this problem. We need this solution, and they go in and they be the solution to the problem. They're really passionate, solving a solution. I see so many people they want to start businesses. Usually, the ones that get hurt by it. It's like there's been a business, and they say, like, why did they start this? I've seen so many, like, all of them gone business and said, oh, they just thought it'd be a good way to make money, thought this, whatever. They didn't put too much thought, like,
Hey everyone, this is Devin Miller here with another episode of The Inventive Journey. I am your host, Devin Miller, the serial entrepreneur that's grown several startups into 7- and 8-figure businesses, as well as a founder and CEO of Miller IP Law, where he helps startups and small businesses with their patents and trademarks. You ever need help with yours? Just go to strategymeeting.com, grab some time with us to chat, and we're always here to help. Now, today we've got another great guest on the podcast, Caleb Smith. And Caleb started his journey growing up in Durham, Carolina, and didn't want to go to college, so went off and played in Europe, or went off to Europe and played soccer for a period of time. After doing this for a little while, got into esports and started down that path, and then opened up a business during COVID. Timing wasn't quite as good with some of the impacts of COVID, but worked hard and to get things going anyway. And then has been building and growing the business ever since. So with that much as an introduction, welcome on the podcast, Caleb.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Devin.
Absolutely. Excited to have you here. So, well, I just gave a quick introduction to a much longer journey. So why don't we rewind and unpack that a little bit? And tell us a little bit about how your journey got started or started out growing up in Durham.
Yeah, so Durham's a great area, and obviously this whole area in where I live in the Triangle, North Carolina, has populated more in the past 25 plus years. But it was a great place to live, to grow up. For those of you who know the area, I grew up nearby South Point Mall, which is a nice area. Having that was one of the best malls in North Carolina, so having that right in our backyard. And there was a lot of opportunity here, and there was a lot of activities to do, lots of camps, lots of, sports to play. And so, I took full advantage of that, played lots of sports all year round. Went and then, around the age of 12, I decided to go, full on with soccer and dedicate myself to that. And then, when I was a sophomore in high school, I decided I didn't want to go to college, and I still wanted to play soccer after high school. So I was like, well, I'm gonna, take an extremely wild, ambitious move and try to play overseas in Europe. I ended up doing that, and then didn't like living in Germany so much, not the best place, to live. And so I was looking for other opportunities. I came across esports. It's like, oh,
Now,
this
just
looks like,
one question, just before we get into the esports part, and definitely we'll dive into that. So you went off to Germany now. Just you're curious, how long, or did you end up playing soccer over there? Or
it
what was
was a
that part of
total
the
of three
journey,
years
and
I was
how did
there
it?
for.
What's that?
I was there for a total of 3 years.
So you're there for 3 years, and did and pardon my ignorance, by all means, was it one where you got on a team, or you played in a league, or you,
Yeah, so you
moved around,
played on a
or kind of,
team in a league. Yeah, when I was over there. So organized, they have much better organized system than we do in the States. But yeah, played on a team over there. So I did amateur half a season, semi-pro for 2 years.
okay. So now, as you're doing or playing soccer for a couple of years in the league and going down that route, what kind of made you decide to take a step back, or maybe that wasn't the path you wanted to take, or otherwise kind of set you on a different course? What was it, kind of a inspiration, light bulb moment, or was it kind of over a course or a period of time, or kind of walk us through kind of how you came to that determination to go a different direction?
I was really not liking living in Germany too much, and then I actually decided this was in 20, so it was like the season of 2018 through 2019, and I actually decided that I was going to stop playing because their seasons line up different. So here the season start around March, April time, but over the seas they start around August, and they have a break, in December. So I actually wasn't going to come back. I knew I wanted to get into esports, but I actually didn't have any opportunity. So I actually wasn't going to come back. Was actually going to look to go play, here for a team here. And then I was got the team to release me, but then I came across the esports,
Hmm.
and so I was like, oh, well, I'll just go back, finish up the season, and then come back here and pursue, this journey. And so that's how that all came out to be. And, it's a great decision. Living over there was great. I learned a lot, well, one being the language, and then learning seeing a socialist economy and how that worked. And, there's good and bad with every system. So just seeing, and then seeing, how things were different. A lot of times we're taught one thing about, so like, here being capitalist, we're taught, why socialism is bad, but I'm like, well, there's also a lot of good that comes in with the socialist economy as well. I would say that with the capitalism, there's a whole lot more opportunities for, entrepreneurship. But for the everyday person, I would actually say that socialism is probably a better, route to go in terms of talk about, very inexpensive health care and like lower cost of living, public transportation, no very little cost of college. So, there's good and bad with both, but then also it comes when if you want to start a business, I mean, it's you don't get that many opportunities and well, Europe, Germany's not that large of a country, and in Europe itself, you know, is more of a most places areas are more of like a besides the tourism area, is more like of a family-friendly community type areas. So most of the businesses there are small businesses. Even the franchise and chains, like there was gym franchise and the restaurant franchises. Most of them was still just Germany, just in Germany. Some of them may have been like Germany, Austria as well, or another nearby state country, but it was usually just within the country itself. So it was really interesting to see, how it operated and how they had to operate differently because they had 80 million people inside that tiny country, as opposed to here in the States, we're thinking like what, 330, 350 million, inside this massive country. So
Hmm.
just seeing how, they live and operate over there, I mean, you know, you can't buy that, with college, type of experience.
Hmm. No, makes sense. So now, if I understand, you came back from Germany, did you come back to Durham, or where did you come back after you kind of left the soccer arena and got more into esports?
Same area, different town. I mean, it's probably like it's about 20, 25 minutes away called Pittsburgh. Most people haven't actually heard of it. Most people know what Durham is, Pittsburgh. Um, I'm not even sure. I mean, it's right outside of Chapel Hill. People know what UNC is, so right outside of there.
Oh, cool. So you come back and say, okay, soccer had good or had a fun experience over in Germany and in Europe for a couple years, and went down that road. Now I'm gonna get kind of get into or more focus on going down the esports route. So now was that kind of, hey, I want to start my own business around it, start my own platform, or I want to compete in esports, or I don't quite know, but I think it's an interesting area. Or kind of as you're coming back, how did you figure out kind of what was the next phase that you're going to go into?
So I actually, so it was August of 2018, that during my second season. And then I actually knew then that I wanted to get into esports. And it was in January of 2019 when I came across the opportunity. So pretty much I went back, finished out the season, and then came back and really started working on the business, getting the business started and going. So it wasn't really much of a transition because I already knew like I wasn't gonna stop playing without actually having found something to do, and then I was gonna look to come back and play here. But then once I decided to do that, then I was like, oh, I don't need to do that. I'm just gonna finish out the season then because I won't be playing for much longer. So in terms of the transition, and everything, it was very well thought out. It wasn't just like, a lot of people, will quit a job or something or move somewhere and like, I'll figure it out. Well, that wasn't me. I actually, had a plan and, was actually thought through things.
Hmm. No, makes sense. So now you have the plan, you come back, you say, okay, I'd like to get into esports. Now, how did you kind of figure out what that would look like or what you might do there? In other words, wanting to get into that, having the plan, and then or reality hitting the pavement, so to speak, and having to get things going. Kind of what was that plan, or kind of what was the direction that you were wanting to head into?
Yeah. And so the original plan was, open up a gaming center, which we did. And then the gaming center model is much different, than what we do now. So pre-COVID was around people coming in and playing, tournaments and birthday parties. And those were the main three things that people did. And so with that model, it was great. But the thing is, most people didn't have their own system. It costs less to actually go in and play. And then people, tournaments, those are huge. Esports was massive in 2019. The COVID really took a lot out of it. And then,
Hmm.
birthday parties, I mean, everyone wants to have a birthday party. Birthday parties is still a main thing that we do. And we even had something else too, like, hey, let's start off like, coaching and training kids in esports that, want to play collegiate or professional because all the kids want to be professional gamers.
Hmm.
And well, all that did a 180 almost when, COVID hit. Then, everyone being at home getting stimulus checks. Everyone bought their own systems. So everybody has a system. So that takes out people not having a system and it costs less because they already have it at home. And then you had people not wanting to go out because it was COVID. So, that was part of it, because these gaming centers were really catered mostly to 20, 30 years olds. I mean, there are kids that, come through, but that's mostly, who they were catered to. Lots of it was just the area where there was absolutely nothing to do at all. But then, for us, internet was another big thing, which, Google Fiber was becoming a thing and other, internet was getting better and fiber internet was starting to get installed during, the 2020, 2021 time. So
Hmm.
internet still wasn't as big of an issue. So we had to figure out what is actually going to convince and get parents to actually pay, to bring their kids here or anyone to pay to come here. And so then, what was going well was how we talk about training gamers, that were interested in playing collegiate professionally. The only issue with that is there was a higher cost because, we needed a more advanced coach and there weren't a lot of youth that actually wanted it, because all of them said they wanted to be a collegiate professional player. Now, in terms of being good enough, there was very few. But then we realized those were just casual people, that wanted to just play and have fun. There was such a wider, range for that. So that's why we started focusing on casual gamers. And then, birthday parties are a thing. They weren't too big and gaining traction. Now they do, because, COVID ended and all that. And then with like the whole coaching training model, went to casual. Then we just started doing STEM camps. When spring break hit, summer camp hit, and the kids absolutely love those. They love the creativity. I mean, they didn't actually think they were learning and doing a lesson or anything. So then, we switched to that, and doing, more STEM related courses. We still do a little bit of esports, we call ourselves gaming esports STEM, so casual gaming, competitive gaming, and STEM education. And then
Hmm.
also now, none of the kids want to be professional gamers anymore. They all want to be like influencers, so Twitch streamers, YouTubers, like they see Mr. Beast and Ninja and people like that, and that's who they want to be. They don't have interest in playing professionally anymore. It was like even earlier this year, I spoke at a career fair at a middle school. I think they had like 600 students or something. Students would come around in groups. I asked the same question to every single group. I said, and I'm telling you, FNCS happened on that Saturday and Sunday. On this Thursday, I did the career fair. So less than a week ago, it happened. I asked them what was the last esports event to take place in Raleigh. Not one single person knew the answer to it. I'm like, y'all all play games, y'all play Fortnite.
Hmm.
None of y'all can tell me that there was a Fortnite competition here just a few days ago. And so that just shows like the level of interest. Usually when I talk to people that aren't interested in esports and watching, they're usually like, 20s and up, like if that more so interested. Because I ever think about too, like, with sports, how even nowadays, back, when I was growing up, we would still watch sports and I would watch soccer all the time. We would always be talking about the games that went on. The players nowadays, they don't really watch soccer that much. They don't know who the players are or anything. They may watch like the World Cup or something, the Champions League final, but they don't actively watch the competitive in the seasons. Like they just want to play, and then they watch it for entertainment. When the big stuff happens. So that's really why I became to realize. So it's really focused on the educational benefits, and we focus on health and wellness because injuries do happen in esports, and it's not healthy to be sitting down for a long time. Talk about taking breaks, eating healthy, staying hydrated,
Hmm.
character life skills building. Video games can be toxic. We teach not to say stuff you shouldn't be saying. Good ethical behavior, and the internet safety. That's a big thing. Not giving out your personal information, not going to sites you shouldn't be going to, and then. And it's also great method of, using that to keep kids off the streets. So, where we are, our facilities in Cary, North Carolina, which is right outside of Raleigh, 10-mile radius of us, yeah, I mean, it's really not an issue. You know, that's not something that's talked about, keeping kids off the streets. Most you hear, don't worry when the next meal is going to come, don't go to bed hungry. We don't really have those type, of issues in this area. But then, we start going out, talk about 20 plus miles away, then it really starts to show. There are underserved youth, there are at-risk youth, there are youth and they may not have everything, that youth that come have domestic violence in their homes. So it's so much different. And so our goal is now to really, we started something called mobile programs, really because we were looking to open up more physical brick and mortar, and we were just doing the mobile programs back then. We called them pop-ups. That was just done as a way, like we take equipment to another venue and run like a camp or an after-school program just to see how well the community would respond. We don't do that, as a, like testing out anymore. We do that now as actual, revenue stream. We're not interested in opening up more locations because it's a large upfront expense, and you have to keep, paying monthly expense like rent, utilities, all that. But then we partner with other venues because all these parks and recs want esports, other organizations like Boys and Girls Club, there's schools that want like the curriculum. So all these organizations that want what we already offer, and it's not a thing of, having 'cause a lot of people have tech companies say that to convince, that this is something they need. They know it's something they need. It's really about getting in front of them, making sure they know, who we are, that we're out there. And then the biggest issue that comes up is, if they have the funding to be able to do some, what we offer or not. So
So
that's
now,
really, started how we've come to, where we are now.
yeah, and so as I was going to say, so now you kind of circle back and you hit on that. So now, if you were to kind of say that's kind of present day of where you guys are at, and if you're to look now at the next 6 to 12 months, kind of where things are headed, and what would be the next, what does the next kind of 6 to 12 months look like for you, or kind of what's that plan for going forward?
Yeah, great question. Really, right now, we have it figured out. The mobile programs, that's the answer. Obviously, we still look to build up our physical location. So we talk about the physical location, like we have camps, we do birthday parties, we have field trips, we do spirit nights for schools. That's like a fundraising for them. We do youth teams, uh, different rec leagues, and we, do other random events. Other organizations say, I want hour long or 2 hour long coding class or animation class, cybersecurity. We run those. So really continuing that and building that up, getting more, we're really focused B2B. So we're, going to continue to keep and promote and, have clients in for like the camp, birthday parties and open play, but they're also pushing other organizations coming into our venue and for us to run classes for, and then all the B2B on the mobile programs as well, because we're really right now most is done about in a 20-mile radius. We really want to continue to expand out, get to a 50-mile radius and a 100-mile radius, and continue to expand out as much as we can.
Hmm. No, sounds like it will be a lot of exciting things ahead, and a lot of fun yet to come. So that sounds like a great direction to be headed in. So, well, now as we're wrapping towards the end of the podcast, if I always like to wrap up with two questions, and so we'll jump to those now. So the first question I always like to ask is, along your journey, what was the worst business decision you ever made? What'd you learn from it?
Worst business decision. I mean, you can't really say opening during COVID wasn't. Well, I mean, 'cause you can't really control stuff like that. I mean, there was some, decisions of things that we bought, some stuff we shouldn't do. I learned, now that if you're going to be signing, I'd probably say about signing contracts, because those could be challenging to get out of. And like, rent. We signed a 10-year lease. We're stuck in that. Internet, we signed a 4-year deal, so we're stuck in paying that. And I mean, our internet bill's not small. We're talking about $1,700 a month. So it's not like, we signed a 4-year deal paying $100 a month in internet. And really look, and we pay like marketing agencies, business coaches, fractional, whatever, C-suite people. And knowing now, not ready to do it. If anyone tries to put you in a contract, unless if there's an actual reason behind it, like internet companies say, yeah, there's a cost to us going and putting the internet in, so we have to put in a contract, make sure we get our make our monies back. That's a little bit more understandable. But really, anyone that tries to put you into a contract, obviously they want to because that guarantees, the revenue over the course of the years. But I learned that because we really don't do contracts and things like long term is because like if we're offering a great service, people can continue to pay for it. And so, a lot of them they just put that in there. And so then, when you offer to do it month to month, a lot of them don't want to do that. So like I'm like, okay, if you perform the way you say you will, so why would I not continue to pay you? So that would be the main one because it's some in contracts, it's a challenge. We were able to get out of them, but and then now I'm at the point where like I really like 30-day notice or like 3-month contracts, like the longest I will, sign. I did sign one. I mean, it was 12 months. I'm granted it was only $900 for the year, but it was straight up, but that was for Salesforce. Now, the only reason I did that was because I had a lot of people talk about how great it was, and they showed the whole demos, and like I knew that was something that we needed. And then again, we're talking about $900 for the year. A lot of those other contracts could have been, $1,000+ per month.
Hmm. No, I think that's a good thing. And I think, sometimes you get into a business, you get excited, and you say, hey, we'll make all the money and we'll sign these long contracts and it will all work out great. And yet then if you have to pivot, you have to adjust or you have to go in a different direction, you be locked into some of those agreements that are longer term and it can kind of hamper the ability to pivot and navigate. So I think that's certainly an easy mistake to make, but a great one to learn from. Second question now that I'd like to ask is, so now if you're talking to somebody that's just getting into a startup or a small business, what'd be the one piece of advice you'd give them?
Do lots of research, and also you have to ask themselves why do they want to do it? Because a lot of people do it because they want to make a bunch of money and all that, and that's the wrong reason. The best businesses I've seen are people, either they get into a franchise or, you know, and they run it, or they see a problem. They say, okay, I've been seeing this problem. We need this solution, and they go in and they be the solution to the problem. They're really passionate solving a solution. I see so many people they want to start businesses, usually ones that get hurt by it. It's like there's been a business and they say, like, why did they start this? I've seen so many like, all of them gone business and said, oh, they just thought it'd be a good way to make money, thought this, whatever. They didn't put too much thought. Like, the thing is too, it's like a lot of people want to get into esports because they think it's gonna be like the gold rush, but some want to most of them like want to just invest, like they want to give us the money and just have us, do the work. Others actually want to start the business themselves, but they just, and all these companies, franchises, whatever, they overhype esports to make it seem like I'm like, okay, NFL is massive, multi-billion-dollar industry. Does the local Pop Warner League make millions of dollars a year? No. So
Hmm.
that's really, where I try to, encourage people to do is to really study, do your research, ask yourself, why do you want to be in this industry? Why do you want to start a business? And if you actually do have a passion for something, you want to do something you think it's great. Like for me personally, esports is like, oh, this is awesome. This is an industry I wanted to, be in. I wanted to have involvement within that. I wanted to, persist and push through. But, a lot of people, just, may not start the business for the right reason. And like I said, learning about as much as possible because, there's so many people out there, try to scam you, try to tell you need and stuff. And one thing that's really helped me is because, you know, with these people, like a lot of people that start businesses, they may do it because they're very good at something. Like a chiropractor. They know that. Or, you know, dental, someone opens their own dental practice, 'cause, if they had a dentist, they know that trade well. They don't know anything about starting a business. So they have to hire all these, business coaches and fractional people and everything to come in and help them out. One thing with me was I understood business really well. And then I learned too, like the, thing before is like you can't, just have and rely on like, we've worked with lobbyists, we work with, marketing companies, PR firms, whatever they didn't get us any results. So you have to be your own, thing out there. It's like I even talked to like, the bigger companies pay them. And then like I talked to them, I was like, oh, so what results have you gotten? Like, oh, we got them this, we got them that. And the things that they got them, like I could have gotten them 3 times as much as what they actually did. But like the bigger companies really don't hold them as accountable. And so now it's like, the best, financial results and the press we've got and everything like that has been
Hmm.
from our internal team just working hard, not from any other coach. But it's like I looked through the revenue and said the times when we weren't spending a bunch of money on money paying a marketing company or paying any like business coaching like that. I said that's when we made the most money. So, that's, where we are. And there are times where I actually do have to like, hire consultants. Like I hire them for an hour and we go over something, we figure out a solution to a problem. Then, whether it be 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 12 weeks later, whenever it is, another issue comes up and they'll get them again and solve it that way. But would never now do like I wouldn't suggest people just getting like weekly, calls with somebody. If you have to do all that stuff, you know, um, usually it's because, they start business because they're really good at something or they're just lazy, don't want to actually, I mean, there's plenty of books out there, there's YouTube channels. I mean, you can fill yourself 10 hours a day with information for years before you run out of it. And so really encourage people just to learn as much as possible, shadow other businesses, work as many different jobs as possible to learn how they work, how they operate, what you like about it, what you don't like. I mean, I learned things about HR related and with and customer service, just overall operations of a business, communication from working different jobs. So I wish I would have started earlier with working jobs and worked more because that was a very beneficial part to my development.
No, I think that's definitely lots of great piece of advice and great takeaways. And I like I think getting started early, even, with it's the, parent mentoring and kids and having the opportunities earlier on, it can really set you up to be successful because now you're gaining a lot of those skills that you're going to use throughout your life and throughout your business career. So I think that's definitely some great pieces of advice. So well, with that, now as we wrap towards the end of the episode, if people want to reach out to you, they want to be a customer, they want to be a client, they want to be an employee, they want to be an investor, they want to be your next best friend, any or all of the above, what's the best way to reach out to you, contact you, find out more?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm on my email is csmith@ncesportsacademy.com. And he can reach out there. I'm on LinkedIn as well, Caleb Smith. And if you can't find me, type in like NCE Sports Academy and then look for employees. I'll be on there. Those are probably the two best ways to get in touch with me. Or you can just go to our website, fill out the contact form, say, hey, looking to speak with Caleb.
Awesome. Well, I definitely think a lot of great ways to connect and support a great business. If nothing else, make a new best friend. So with that, thank you again for coming on the podcast. It's been it's been a pleasure. Now, for all of you other listeners that are out there, if you have your own journey to share and you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, we'd love to have you. So just go to inventiveguest.com, apply to be on the show. A couple more things as listeners, make sure to click share, subscribe, leave us a review. Helps us to reach even more startups and small businesses to help them along their journey to success. And on that note, if you ever need help with your patents or trademarks or anything else with your business or your startup along your journey, feel free to go to strategymeeting.com, grab some time with us to chat, and we're always here to help. Well, thank you again, Caleb, for coming on the podcast, and wish the next leg of your journey even better than the last.
Thank you.